War has been a constant throughout human history, but some conflicts have inflicted a cost that's, well, it's truly unimaginable. Today, we're going to confront the staggering numbers behind the deadliest wars ever recorded. We're doing this to try and understand the events that have shaped our world through just an immense amount of loss.
It's true. From ancient empires to modern nations, war has always been this powerful and very often devastating force for change.
And that really brings us to the central question, right? Because behind every single altered border and every fallen empire are just staggering numbers of human lives that were lost.
So in this explainer, we're going to count down the 5 deadliest conflicts in recorded history. We're drawing on data from publications like Pulse-Ghana, and our goal here is pretty simple: to grasp the sheer scale of these tragedies and hopefully, in doing so, really understand the profound importance of peace.
Okay, our journey starts with a war that acted as a brutal, sort of a prelude to an even bigger global catastrophe. So let's get into it. Let's begin the countdown, starting with number 5. Kicking off our countdown at number 5 is the Second Sino-Japanese War. This was an absolutely brutal conflict in Asia that would eventually get swept up into the Second World War.
The estimated death toll here is just staggering. We're talking between 15 and 20 million people. To put that into perspective for a second, that's more than the entire population of many countries today.
Now, this war became a horrific theater of World War II, but what's so often overlooked is that the vast majority of those 15 to 20 million casualties were civilians, and that was due to the unbelievably brutal nature of the invasion, which included atrocities like the Nanking Massacre. The conflict's legacy is profound. It completely redrew the political map of East Asia. For number 4, we have to journey way back, more than 1,000 years, to 8th century China. This wasn't a war, but a devastating internal rebellion. Now look at this estimated death toll. It's a massive range, anywhere from 13 to 36 million people. The very fact that historians can't narrow it down any further than that is a testament to the sheer chaos and societal collapse this rebellion caused.
So this wasn't a war between nations. It was a massive rebellion that just erupted from within one of China's most prosperous eras, the Tang dynasty. It was led by a general, Lushan, and was basically a response to growing political corruption. And while the rebellion ultimately failed to overthrow the dynasty, the cost was catastrophic. It inflicted a wound so deep that the Tang dynasty never, ever truly recovered its former glory.
Coming in at number 3, we have the conflict that was supposed to be the war to end all wars. The death toll here is tragically familiar, an estimated 15 to 20 million lives. It mirrors the conflict we just saw at number 5, but this devastation was concentrated in Europe and happened 2 decades earlier, really setting the stage for an even greater conflict to come.
This war just fundamentally changed how we fight. What started with the assassination of an archduke quickly spiraled into a global meat grinder. This was the first major industrial war, and it introduced the mechanized horror of machine guns, tanks, and poison gas. The result wasn't just millions dead, it was the total collapse of entire empires, which unfortunately sowed the seeds for the even deadlier war that would follow.
All right, from here, the numbers escalate, and they escalate dramatically. We are now entering a scale of human loss that is truly difficult to comprehend.
At number 2, we return to China for another staggeringly brutal civil war, the Taiping Rebellion, which happened in the mid-19th century. So here, the death toll climbs even higher, to an estimated 20 to 30 million people. And it's so critical to understand that the vast majority of these were not soldiers. They were civilians caught in the crossfire or people who died from the resulting famine and disease.
The origins of this war are surreal. It was led by a man named Hong Xiuquan, who, after having a vision, declared himself the younger brother of Jesus Christ. His mission? To overthrow the Qing dynasty. And that sparked a 14-year conflict. The result wasn't just warfare, it was catastrophic famine and epidemics that devastated the country, fatally weakening the ruling dynasty, much like the Lushan rebellion did centuries before.
And now, we've arrived at number 1, the single deadliest conflict in all of human history, a war that touched nearly every single corner of the globe.
Between 70 and 85 million people were killed. Just let that number sink in for a moment. It's a figure so enormous it almost becomes abstract, representing an amount of loss that is nearly impossible to wrap your head around.
The entire globe was just engulfed in this conflict between the Allies and the Axis. Its scale of horror was completely unprecedented, from the industrial-scale genocide of the Holocaust to the dawn of the atomic age with the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The world that emerged was forever changed. It led to the creation of the United Nations in a desperate bid for peace, but it also plunged humanity right into the nuclear standoff of the Cold War.
This is where the scale just becomes crystal clear. I mean, look at these numbers side by side. The casualty count from World War II isn't just higher, it's more than double the other 4 deadliest conflicts in history combined. It is a total outlier in human devastation. It's on another planet.
So why do we recount all of this horror? Well, because behind every single one of these millions is an individual life, a family destroyed, a future that just never was. Confronting these numbers isn't about dwelling on the past. It's about understanding the true, irreplaceable value of peace. We have more knowledge about the cost of conflict than any generation in history. The data is clear, the stories are known. And so we're left with one single, urgent question. Has knowing all this history actually made us any wiser?